My model says this is relatively sharp, and the total is relatively sharp. Sharp. But I mean, at this point, you know,
That is the
what
perfect
happens when I hang
word
out
for
with you
this
guys so
game.
long.
That is the perfect word for this game.
I've been hanging around you guys way too long.
Oh my God. Yes, it is. It is relatively short, this game. Like Paul at the gym. What is going on?
That is
that's
false,
what you
fake
say when you
news.
lose your bet. It was
Never
relatively
actually
short.
happened.
Oh, man.
Oh man.
Oh, man. Maybe the Panthers are in information acquisition mode. Like, it's not that they're tanking per se. It's, okay, we want to know what we have in Bryce Young. We want to know what we have in our other guys so we know where we need to supplement our team. And that is way more important than, say, quote unquote, winning the football game. For the Bears, it certainly seems like they're not in information acquisition mode. They are actually trying to win, and maybe they got to roll out Bajent to do so. But definitely, they are a little bit more inspired and motivated, I suppose.
Total.
Yeah,
It's
total.
a year of unders,
Under?
primetime unders, 22-7 this year. Two terrible quarterbacks right now. We'll see what Bryce Young is years from now, but whatever. Bajent, 5 interceptions last 2 games. Do we want to go under 38.5? Like, here's what I'm looking at. Like, both defenses are poor. I would say that the Bears are good against the run. They've been good over the last month since everybody got healthy, since their secondary got back. But I'd also add that these are not teams that want to run the ball much. It was the Saints last week. It was, the Chargers, the Raiders, the Vikings, ever since they've gotten their dudes back. The Bears are good against the run, and they do run the ball offensively. And it is one thing they can do. EPA per rush, the Bears are top 5 in the NFL. So I would say, even though the losses are still there, the Bears are kind of trending in the right direction. And it's, the draft pick thing is fascinating. It's going to be all over the broadcast about how the Bears own the Carolina pick and the Bears traded out of the 1 and Bryce Young's here. But, when you look at these two guys, they're not going to push it down the field at all. At all. I mean, Bryce Young is dead last in the NFL in yards per attempt. Look at intended air yards. Bajent is dead last, 6.0. Who's second to last? Bryce Young at 6.1. So I wouldn't even look at the angle and say, oh, these defenses are bad. Maybe it will fly over. It's going to be tough. Like, you look at quarterback rating. Young is 35, Bajent's 38, EPA per play, Bajent's 36, Young's 37. These guys have been terrible. We were just talking last segment about, how tough it is to find 32 good quarterbacks, and there aren't those in the world. Well, these guys aren't in the top 32, not based on their performance this season. And a couple weeks ago, a lot was made out of, they're going to switch things up, the Panthers, with Thomas Brown's going to be the OC now. I mean, boy, that's desperate. Your brand new coach is already giving up play calling duties. That's how bad it's been. And guess what? No difference. There's still a bottom 5 offense against bad defenses since Brown's taken over. We mentioned Herbert. It sounds like he's not going to play tonight. Roschon Johnson was a guy that early in the season looked like he was going to get more and more run. And that just hasn't happened of late. I don't know if they're working him back slowly or what it is. But, okay, last week Herbert was out and Foreman got 60% of the snaps. 60%.
83
So
yards.
it seems like the coaching staff is trusting him a little bit more. So Foreman, I wouldn't mind that. I mean, if it's 28.5, into the 30s, I don't have a problem. Bajent, he had 70 rushing yards last week. 70 on 8 rushes. So I would think his mindset might be, look, this worked well a week ago. I'm going to stick with it if the opportunity strikes. And I saw 19.5 for his rushing yards prop. That's not bad. In his first start, he went over it as well, 24. So he's gone over that number in 2 of 3. Last week, way over that number.
Chargers +3. Los Angeles as dogs against the Detroit Lions. That's just fine by me. This is more of a positive regression to the mean kind of a game as far as I'm concerned. Yes, there are key offensive injuries for the Chargers. I get that. But do we really believe that Los Angeles is this meddling 500 or below 500 football team? This was someone we thought could very well make a wild card spot. And I still believe that despite the injuries, despite the hiccups here and there that seem just a little bit idiotic, I still think the Chargers have a chance to make the playoffs here. We all agree with a total of 48 and a half. It's appropriately going to be a higher scoring game. But Justin Herbert, look, he can keep up with Jared Goff. That is absolutely a possibility here, especially against the blitz. Herbert is great against 5+ pass rushers. Also, this Chargers defense we've insulted for a while now. They've at least handled outside runs better, and they've had success stacking the box. And Jared Goff may have to get a little creative, or this could be a back and forth affair. So give me Chargers +3.
Then I'm going Lions -3. So we're going against each other, Ed. I would be a little bit worried about the Chargers on a short week and the Lions coming off a bye. I think this is going to be a big problem for the Chargers. I like Detroit a lot in this spot.
Detroit -3. This is interesting. So I'm Detroit. Aaron's Detroit. And Ed is on the LA Chargers. I am very concerned about another receiver that was doing a lot for this offense going down. At first it was Mike Williams, and now it's Palmer. He's going to miss some time. Seems like the Lions are completely healthy. David Montgomery practicing in full yesterday, and yeah, they're going to be raring to go. It's a team that I do want to trust off the bye. And how many weeks in a row do we really want to trust Brandon Staley? So I do like the Lions. I wish the number was inside of 3 like it was earlier in the week, but for the contest, they made things difficult and gave us 3. So I'm going to lay the short number. I would say give me the list of head coaches that would have a winning record against Michigan and Ohio State in his tenure. I don't think that's a very long list. That's not easy to do. Like if you're around 500, that's like, whoa, you're an awesome coach.
Mhm.
So I think people are going a little bit too far there. Could it be low scoring affair? Yeah, certainly. I could see that. I just look, people are going to look at it and say getting more than a field goal, Penn State, Michigan hasn't played anybody, and they're probably going to take the Nittany Lions. I assume the public's going to be on Michigan. Not one of my favorites, but if I'm picking something here, I'd probably go Michigan. I'd probably go Michigan or the under, but I can't sit here and say that I absolutely love anything in this game.
Yeah, I'm the same way. From a fan perspective, looking forward to see what happens. But you bring up the point about who has Michigan played. This is going to be a tougher test, but I still think Michigan can cover the spread. Do we think like all this sign stealing drama will be a distraction for these young guys, or is that a non-issue? Either way, I think this is still a spread that Michigan can cover. I'm not expecting them to blow them out.
When you're facing inferior competition week in and week out, you can just run the ball a lot more. You can have trench warfare and win it consistently. You don't necessarily have to have complex offenses or creativity in terms of your passing attack. You don't need those things. This is the first time when Michigan will have to employ such tactics. And the question for me is, yeah, J.J. McCarthy has been super duper efficient, but he hasn't really played anybody to where we can say wholeheartedly that this efficiency will translate against any kind of defense. And that makes me a little worried about McCarthy's Heisman chances, Michigan's chances in terms of the passing attack. I think all of those things are fair game. I get the human element to say, okay, James Franklin does not win the big game. I totally understand that. Well, he just came off of winning the Rose Bowl against Utah. That seems like a big win to me. I think that's significant.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's different because you have extra weeks to prepare and all of that stuff, but I think there's potential in this program under James Franklin to win big games. It can happen in a contest like this. I don't know if it will be Saturday, but definitely as far as how I want to attack this contest, I almost trust the Penn State defense more than I do any one particular unit on the field, to where I think this is going to be a low-scoring game, and I would hammer the under.